Dear God, we pray that you will bless and guide us through this meeting. Help us have productive discussions that will broaden our perspectives. Help us to resolve any disputes gracefully and find principles that we may agree on. Help us generate good plans that are practical, sustainable, and easily implemented. Guide us towards the best way to take action to accomplish our goals. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, if you join me in the U.S. pledge first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. All right, the first action on our agenda tonight is approval of the minutes from our meeting on March 25th. Did y'all have a chance to review those, and are there any comments or edits? All right, can I get a motion to approve them as written?
I move to accept as written.
Okay, second? Okay, all in favor? Aye? All right, any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. All right, next we'll move on to item 3.1, discussion and action regarding a request by Stephen Davis representing Land Solutions SV LLC for the final plat approval for Sonoma Verde Phase 4C, 29.703 acres consisting of 43 residential lots, 2 open spaces lots generally located at the southeast of Highway 205 and League Road. Do we have a staff report that you want to go over? Or?
Madam Chair, you do have a staff report. Let me say for the record that items 3.1, 3.2, and 3.4 are all related to Sonoma Verde, and I'm going to give you kind of a quick overview of the three of them together.
Okay.
We reviewed those plans, a final plat and 2 preliminary plats, for consistency with either the approved preliminary plat or the concept plan that had been approved previously. And we found that they all complied with either the preliminary plat that had been approved or the concept plan that was been adopted originally.
Okay.
Also checked against the developer agreement, which is the foundation for the zoning that exists out there, and determined that the requirement for dedication of right-of-way for I just had brain lock. Edwards and League. Thank you. Instead of being those rights of way under our normal thoroughfare plan would have been 100 to 120 feet of width, but the developer agreement restricts the amount of a collector to 80 feet of width. So we've requested through our engineer the dedication of sufficient right-of-way from the center line of both League and Edwards to satisfy the 80 feet of width when we get everything built. So we reviewed all 3 of these in the context of the development agreement, the existing zoning requirements, the percentages of units and lot sizes that were required, and the thoroughfare plan, and have found that with the minor exceptions of the conditions that are in your agenda, in your docket for each one of these cases, they comply with all the regulations that regulate these 3 tracts of land.
And if I'm not mistaken, Kimley Horn has put in some information that's responding some of your staff comments also?
That's correct. Now, Ms. Linden, I have not had a chance to review those yet, but the female engineer who sent me the note is not here. At least I'm assuming that he's not a female. And he can answer any questions that you might have, although he confirmed that they have responded to all of the conditions that myself and the city engineer had recommended.
Okay. Do the representatives from the developer have anything they want to say, or are you just here to answer questions?
We're just here for any questions you guys have.
Okay. Okay, so first up, we're going to discuss, like I said, item 3.1, which is the final plat for Phase 4C. Have you guys had a chance to look at it, and do you have any questions for the developer, any points of discussion?
I think the only question I would have, and I'm sure it's come up, maybe missed the answer response, but condition of the roads and the use of the roads, and is there a present evaluation, or is all the traffic back and forth, is there any deterioration of those roads? Have you guys set up some kind of management for that? Is there some kind of
We're talking about those roads that they was developments, or?
no, I'm talking-
Edwards and,
I'm talking about the roads, League Road, and I'm sorry, League Road and Edwards, if you guys are using those roads for access, egress purposes, and
construction.
it's during the construction phase.
Yeah, we'll be looking at the condition of those roads. and we'll-
There's a microphone right there, and if you'll punch the button on one of those and get the little red light, then it'll help us record it.
Can you hear me? A little short, so
So
I'll
you're
pull this
not
down
Lori,
here.
right?
I'm not Lori. I'm Craig Mallon with Kimley Horn Engineers. Thank you. Glad to be here. Yeah, we're working with the developer, and the city have been in some discussions about doing some improvements to those roads and trying to figure out what we're going to do, because we need to improve it as well. Just from you drive up and down, we've got 2 other subdivisions that are getting near completion. You have trucks coming up and down there, and dust goes everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So we're very much in getting those improved, and we're working towards a solution for that.
Hey, turn that one off and try the other one.
Hello?
That's better.
Is that better?
Let us
Okay.
know, yeah.
And
You bet.
I was going to say, I noted the city engineer, or the city planner, noted on 2 of those about the condition of Edwards Road and his conditions, and the developer responded in these Kimley Horn documents saying that they were going to work that out. So that was noted and called out. And I guess the question that I would have for Mike is, if you go through what Kimley Horn has put in response to the conditions of the city engineer, if you think those looked good, and they look good to me, but I'm not a city planner or an engineer.
I just now reviewed them all, and I
Okay.
think that they are consistent with our expectations from the developer's engineer. So let me say that I've worked with Kimley Horn for a long time. And among the engineers that do work in the cities where I work, they're probably in the top tier. I would think so.
Let me just add on the road. I have a meeting with the county, so we're at the roads and other roads. And what came out of that as far as Edward Road is we had requested that it's kind of already over, looking at some sort of cost share arrangement, so that's what it's referring to. And also, even though we haven't worked out the particular details on what a tax road is going to be yet, and what the cost share is going to be, we don't file these plats until after things are actually built. So even though they're being approved now, this will all be worked out, and we won't actually file a plat until everything's taxed on.
And echo what Commissioner Tucker was talking about, the roads within the development. So I appreciate the call out for League and Edwards, but more specifically to this point, the roads within the development currently are subpar. They were not built to sustain the amount of heavy construction trucks that are coming in. There's been multiple improvements already made to those roads. There's repairs that are needed now. And so I'm curious from your perspective, what entrance are you planning on really utilizing for these new developments? Is it the main entrance off 205? Is it coming out of Edwards Road or League? And what is going to be done to build up those roads that will not create problems for the residents that will be purchasing those homes now?
Yeah, so from a construction standpoint, as far as construction traffic, and if Stephen wants to jump in, he can, we'll be using Edwards and League for construction traffic, so it won't be going through the subdivision. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to, looks
Yeah,
like he
just to
wants
elaborate
jump
on that a little bit, we do have a plan that we have given to all of our construction contractors. In other words, the civil work that we'll be doing will not be coming through the subdivision at all. So they'll be coming around down Edwards Road, not even on League Road, but coming from the other way. Is that 548?
550.
550? Okay. They'll be coming around that way. We have also given instructions to all of our builders that all of their heavy traffic from their supplies also use that route, so they're not coming through the subdivision to do that. Now, regulating that's going to be obviously always a challenge, but we do think we can cut it down by at least 70 or 80% of kind of what's happening now. To kind of address the current roads, and we've been in constant conversation with the city and the city engineer. We didn't build phase one roads, so I can't really speak to the why that they're having some issues. We have in connection with Dub, the city engineer, inspected all the roads in phase two, and they're still in very good shape. We have, with an agreement with the city, going to contribute a couple $100,000 towards repair of the roads in phase one. I think some of that work may be done sooner rather than later, but some of it may be done once all of the home construction is complete and the majority of those larger trucks are off the roads. So we think we have a good plan. We think we've addressed it, I believe, to the best of our ability.
And then I have a secondary question. I'm not sure it's really coincided with this, and maybe that's all that you offer for guidance. Some of these line items you specified that it will be absorbed by the HOA, specifically drainage, easement, some of those particular places related to spots that are considered open spaces. And I'd like to understand a little bit more about what the developer owns with the HOA, but again, at least I'm on you too. I don't know if that's specific for our committee to discuss, or if that's something for the council to bring up.
So what's your specific question? I'm sorry.
I have a deep concern on the quantity of items that are going to be absorbed by the HOA, which ultimately are the homeowners of this development, versus the developer when we know that there are already drainage issues or significant issues that are happening in the development as it exists. And I'm just curious what's owned by the developer and what's being pawned off to the homeowners. So that's what I would like to carry on.
And when everything is accepted, after the engineer, after the streets and the drainage and everything is finished, that will all be dedicated to the city. So at that point, the city can be, there's a maintenance assessment is paid every year.
Oh, I know.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm Sonoma Verde resident and not a very just in full disclosure. So I don't want to have anything unknown there.
But ultimately, the city is responsible for the maintenance of storm drains,
Any other questions or discussion? Okay. If there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion on item 3.1 first, for phase 4C. Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, show that passed. Okay, we'll move on to item 3.2, discussion and action regarding the application by Stephen Davis representing Land Solutions SV LLC for preliminary plat approval of Sonoma Verde Phase 3, consisting of 57.4187 acres of land to include 169 residential lots and 4 open space lots generally located southeast of Highway 205 and League Road. Does anyone have any further discussion specific to this plat? If not, I would entertain a motion on phase 3. Okay. Can I get a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then if it please the committee, I'm going to go ahead and jump to item 3.4, since it's the third Sonoma Verde plat. So we'll move to discussion and action regarding I read it how it was written. Discussion and action regarding an application by Stephen Davis representing Land Solutions SV LLC for preliminary plat approval of Sonoma Verde Phase 5, consisting of 61.389 acres to include 79 residential lots and 2 open space lots. Any questions or discussions on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion on this one.
All right, well, I thought Dan was going
I
to do
know, I
it for
didn't-
consistency, but I'll,
5. Okay, can I get a second? Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Happy digging.
Appreciate that.
All right, Lori, we'll see you next time.
All right, with that, we'll move back to item 3.3. Discussion and action regarding a request by Chad Prince for final plat of Chad Prince addition to include 1 residential lot on 2.5 acres located in both Rockwall and Kaufman counties and in McLendon-Chisholm, ETJ. Mr. Coker, do you have anything you want to add to what was in our staff report on this one?
The surveyor in this case has satisfied the condition for changing the language from minor plat to final plat as I requested. And with that, we recommend approval.
Okay,
I will say also that Mr. Prince has dedicated the right-of-way for half of Cornstalk to meet the county's required thoroughfare width for that roadway in the future.
okay. Okay. All right, do you have any, you're just here to answer questions? Okay. Did anyone have any questions about this plat?
So this is the preliminary and final plat being one plat, just get it over and done because it's a small development?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
If you've got 2.5 acres, you have the option to have both your preliminary and your final plat consolidated into what should be called normally it'd be a minor plat, but in McLendon-Chisholm it would be a final plat. So you get to look at it and make a recommendation for both preliminary and final at the same time.
Okay,
And then the council considers it the same way.
yep.
okay. Any other questions?
So the question that I have then is, it's zoned as residential, is that currently accurate?
It's in our ETJ, so our
It's
land
not
use
zoned at all.
regulations don't apply. The only thing that we have any regulatory authority over in the ETJ, there are 2 things that we have regulatory authority. Platting, which is the subdivision regulations, and because they're in our fire district, we can also require certain things like fire apparatus, access roads, and those kinds of things. But that's not something that you deal with, but it is something that we have regulatory authority over. But other than that, the things that you're responsible for don't include land use.
Yeah.
So the 1.5 acres is not allowed to the ETJ?
No, ma'am.
Nope, none of our,
And this is 2.5 acres anyway.
yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I will entertain a motion on item 3.3.
You said well. No? Okay. I move that we accept the staff recommendation and the addition of the final plat for the Chad Prince addition of 1 residential lot on 2.5 acres.
And there weren't any conditions on that? No, I don't believe there were.
Subject to the conditions
Yeah.
in the staff report.
Yeah. Okay, can I get a second? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right. Okay,
There's that.
thank you.
Okay, now it's going to go to city council.
And out of curiosity, what are you building? Nothing yet?
Single family home, just kind of waiting on this, and plans are almost done, so July, August, and start.
Very nice.
Very much looking forward to that.
Awesome. Welcome to McLendon-Chisholm. So, Next up, item 3.5, discussion regarding the comprehensive plan update. Is that something we want to table? Or is there any?
He's not here yet, so I would say,
Kip it.
Mr. Kiffett, if he gets here by the end of the meeting, you might want, he's got a 2-minute presentation. He wants to give you a status report on the comprehensive plan update.
Okay,
If he doesn't show up, then I think you table it.
okay. All right, so we will skip item 3.5 for now. Move on to item 3.6, discussion and action regarding a request for a final plat approval for McLendon-Chisholm Municipal Edition consisting of 15.008 acres to include 4 city-owned lots. Mr. Coker, do we have a staff?
Yes,
discussion on that?
we evaluated this. As you are aware, a final plat, once it's approved, has a lifespan of a year, within which time you're supposed to file it of record with the county clerk. For some reason, that didn't happen. And so we're sitting in a building that should have been built based on a final plat that was filed of record, but it never got filed of record. The new public safety building is under construction, and we discovered that the final plat had never been recorded. And so we've brought back this plat for your consideration as a final plat, which I think gives a lot more detail than we had on the originally approved plat, and provides some guidance for the Planning and Zoning Commission to look at what we're asking for, and then to send that kind of recommendation on to the council, and we can get this done properly this time. There are 2 conditions that I asked for. The city administrator has agreed that they will be accomplished. On the plat, you'll notice that it says Street A. You know, that's not a street name. And so I've asked for a real street name. And I don't care what it is, as long as it's a real street name. And something that, you know, that really, because it's the city kind of civic center kind of thing. Something that she'll have for the council to consider. The other thing is, the thoroughfare plan calls for FM 550 to be a 4-lane undivided collector with a minimum of 120 feet of right-of-way. And I have made every other property owner that's come in front of us on 550 dedicate the required additional right-of-way. And so I've placed that into this condition, and the city administrator has agreed that they will do so prior to the final plat. And the reason that I can't tell you exactly what the width is because the right-of-way that's out there today is undetermined, and I've got to get our surveyor to tell me what it really is.
So quick question, so it should be 120, is that what you're saying, right of way?
The thoroughfare plan says 100 to 120.
Okay, so the question that I have then is, as written on here, the condition is stated sufficient right of way to establish 50 feet of right of way. So
From
is that-
the center line, and so
Got it.
half on one side, half on the other side.
Gotcha,
gives me a
gotcha.
hundred.
Got it, okay, perfect.
And are we sitting on lot 1 of this thing? I'm trying to orient myself.
Yes, we are.
Let me pull it up so I don't lie to you.
We
Yeah,
are.
we're on lot 1.
Okay.
So you just said we've required everyone else to donate 60 feet.
No, to donate sufficient right-of-way to get me to the minimum, which was 100 feet.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood you. And I know you said you don't know what's out there now. I mean, looking at this, and I mean, it's tiny, so I can't really tell at the scale, but are we pretty confident that we can get 50 feet without impacting the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually scaled it off, and I even saved the tree that's out there, so.
See- Hey, trees are important. I've been through plenty of environmental issues. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
I'm just curious why the fire lane easements are there. Does it go around a planned building? Because they just seem so arbitrary, curving around.
The fire code says that you have to have a fire lane to provide access to fire apparatus that, from a pumper truck, you can lay 150 feet of hose and reach all sides of that building on the first floor. And so that's why the fire lanes are shown the way they are.
Gotcha. Going around both sides.
And I would expect that on those other, the undeveloped lots that are to the south there, when we put in a new roadway system, you're going to see a modification to the plat that'll show new fire lane that goes out to a soccer field, if that's what it ends
Right.
up.
And then that'll just be an amended plat at that point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Very, very easy for you to do.
Catching on, little by little.
Does Lot 2 have access to 550, or is everything through Street A?
It does. It's straight access.
Farmers pull their apparatus in 550 and they'll, so they don't have to back into
Yeah.
Right.
the station. They'll pull around and pull through to the station, so the door.
And when they get a call, once it's built, then for the emergencies, they'll be coming straight out from the fire station itself onto 550 and not coming on to Civic Drive out here.
I wondered about that. I know that's not what we're approving, but I was curious about that, because I have been here, especially during elections, when people are parked all over, and I wondered how they were going to access the fire station.
Right, that's, and they will be able to, if for some reason our driveway was blocked off, they could actually come in their new driveway. It's
Oh,
really
looky.
wide.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that, okay. That's
Oh,
really
that's
nice,
nice.
Lisa.
Yeah, so they can
actually.
pull around and through.
Uh-huh.
Very nice.
No.
No,
Yeah. Wise, yeah. We want to keep the building. No, yeah.
no, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, that's
That's
helpful.
really nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Whoops.
no. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
I just
come
turned
check
off
it
my
out.
computer.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to show it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about this plat?
She's got all the good stuff. don't
I
you
know, she's just got a stash back there.
No, I'm satisfied. I guess I could, are you ready to entertain a
I
motion?
am and ready to
I-
entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the request for final plat for the McLendon-Chisholm Municipal Edition, subject to the staff conditions.
Okay, perfect. Any, or can I get a second?
I
Sorry.
moved a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that carries. The next item on the agenda is discussion and action regarding setting future meeting dates and agenda items. Lisa, do we have an anticipated need?
Yeah, let's look at future meetings.
It's all right with you, I'm gonna combine, can we combine 3.5 and 3.7? And then talk about one of the others.
Sure.
I can if you want, because he kind of updated us.
The reason why is because there's a community forum related to comp plan update that is scheduled for Saturday, the 15th of May, from 10 to 2. And we'd love for all of you to be there for that. There is a second one that is a little bit up in the air. We only hired anyone to do one community forum, but the CPAC committee decided that two would actually be real good ideas, so the one on the weekend and then the one on weeknight, just to kind of get a little bit more opportunity. So the date for that, originally we were kind of looking at the 13th, but I talked to them more today, now they're kind of looking at possibly the 20th.
So the Thursday after, yeah.
That would just give them a little more time to advertise and also push them to one more week because if it's out of town, we think we have to be together and kind of just give people a little longer to. So, as far as your meeting day,
It would have been the 20th.
probably
Yeah.
the 20th, I didn't know about meeting on the 13th or the numbers to the 27th. I don't have anything for you right now.
Okay.
Is it 27th? Where is that in relation to Memorial Day?
That is Memorial Day, that's the Thursday of Memorial Day weekend. I will be out of town.
I mean,
on the
I'll
27th.
be here, but
That's right after school gets out.
Yeah.
So I would rather move it up.
Yeah, to the
than-
13th.
Than back if we, the 13th,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then if there's nothing, you know,
Then we don't meet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Thursday, it's just a week early.
and do
We
you
normally
like,
meet
still
on the
like
third
7
Thursday.
o'clock versus 6:30, Leslie? Or is that
Oh.
just,
I have a baseball game from 6 to 7 on the 13th, so it's better for me. but I
7's
mean,
better
it's
for you?
not-
Okay.
I mean, I think 7 is better for,
me, for sure.
Maybe anything else will, maybe you'll get that much off.
yeah,
Or stuff.
sure, that'd be fine, yeah.
So-
Can we say 7 o'clock though for,
The 13th, tentatively.
and then, yeah, I mean, maybe we won't have anything. But I think for a lot of us to get quorum, we may need to do 7 instead of 6:30 that night. Can you tell me again, what time the planned community forum on the 15th is?
10 to 2.
10 to 2. Yeah, so the CPAC met Monday, and Kimley Horn was here, and we did a little exercise, you know, what's McLendon-Chisholm in one word kind of thing, and walked through the whole process that they walked us through last time. And throughout that discussion, that's where we were tossing around, when should we have this community forum? When does the survey close? The survey closes on the 20th. We were exhorted all to, you know, get people to answer the survey. I asked them, what's the participation been so far? And they said we're at 6%, which is, you know, more than the minimum 2% that they were going for. Yeah. So that was encouraging. There were a lot of questions about what that we talked about in our P&Z meeting, about what's the community forum like, and it's not that there's a presentation. It's a come and go thing, and there will be stations and interactive things for people to do. So there was a lot of it was just the stuff that you guys already heard from Kimley Horn. And then in the discussion, as Lisa mentioned, we one of the guys thought, you know, we were saying, is a Saturday better or is a weeknight better? And they said, well, why not both? Because for some people with kids in sports, you know, you may not be able to get there, or if somebody's out of town for the weekend, we want to have maximum participation. And so it was going to be put back to the city council to ask, because in scope is one meeting, and obviously there'd be additional cost for a second meeting, but I think the whole point of a comprehensive plan is to get maximum community input. And then they also said that, you know, they will be facilitating the stations, but they will take, you know, the CPAC members, or I'm sure you guys could come if you want to, and help facilitate the questions. The other thing that Mark Kippett is the chairman of the CPAC, and one of the things that he would like to do is to have some smaller neighborhood forums. People on the CPAC are from different neighborhoods within McLendon-Chisholm, so he's got an idea that we might have Kimley Horn has what they talked about with us, a meeting in a box, and it's really just to ask questions and write down the answers and listen and get that input, so people who might not come to a community forum but might be less shy about talking to a neighbor on a smaller format, so to get maximum participation that way. And that's going to obviously be at no cost to the city, because it's going to be the CPAC members and the neighborhood people, you know, volunteering their time to do that. And I think people were pretty enthusiastic about doing that in their neighborhoods and some of the adjoining neighborhoods, and sort of combining that. So Mark is working on talking to us about getting those on the calendar for our respective neighborhoods. So be looking for that, because I'm sure you guys would all be very engaged in that whole process.
The big push right now is that survey is open through the 20th.
Of April?
Everybody can make the final push to get
Okay.
their neighbors.
Do we have preliminary info? I mean, I know she was
They're not gonna
counting
give that
2%. Oh, okay. Just wondered if we were even trending towards hitting what I know her initial goal had been, so.
And if they're not going to share it till the end, because they can skew the.
Understood. Understood.
She'll just, you know, keep pushing, anybody that may not have heard of it, or anybody that's put it off, we'll get that word out, that's one thing we're working on, just want to make people as participate as possible. And then, of course, as we get closer to that forum, we'll keep pushing those dates out as well.
And then that Plan MC text TX, where the survey is now, is going to get updated with more information, and so that survey results can be available and that kind of thing prior to the forum. So that is going to be like a living website with, you know, more information as we go along, not just the survey, so.
More opportunity for comments on the community
Okay.
One other thing, May 15th, forum, that's that day, or you guys still, that one's set.
That one's set, yeah.
May 15th set.
And then we have to, when is city council, a city council meeting next week? Oh, okay, so that's when they're going to decide if they want to do the, because I'm sure Kimley Horn needs to give them a number too.
Yes, I'm giving them the number, and I've already penciled down on the agenda
Okay.
to request for that.
So I would say if they end up not having one on the 20th, do we want to put our meeting on the 20th? Or do we want to stick with the 13th? That was my only question. Because we were going to go to the 13th because
Because of
our
the
normal
forum.
day would be the second forum. But if the second forum doesn't happen, do we want to stick with the 13th or the 20th? I don't care, personally. Just throwing it out there.
I don't have anything for you right now as far as items. If you want to just get in touch with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say,
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you both nights I have a conflict, so I would say, yeah, maybe if you have an item, let's see which one we think we can get quorum.
Okay.
If there's one night that's better.
That
than
makes
the other,
sense.
Yeah. But I will.
So
be late.
logical.
That's the engineer in me.
Yeah.
coming out. Yeah.
It would also be run by Kimley Horn. So it'd be the same kind of thing where it's, you know, come and go, where people can come and, you know, they have stuff for kids to engage with and that kind of thing. And just kind of be a low pressure way for people to wander around and see. They'd have results of the survey there for people, and it'd basically be the same thing as the Saturday, but just on a night where it might be easier for people to swing in.
When does the survey end?
The 20th, which is April, which is Thursday.
Okay.
No, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
You're looking at
Tuesday.
April, yes.
It's coming Tuesday. I was looking at May.
Okay.
All right, any other business for the committee? If not, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We are adjourned. See if anybody opposes the adjournment motion, they can come out by themselves.
Mark had an American Legion meeting, which I should know because my husband's at the same meeting. So he says, sorry, he
So all these things can go on.
excitement.
All up, I mean, the staff reports. I've got, she's in the record, I just haven't, yeah.
Just on this, nothing else passed, just a couple of these, that's all that information.
Are you collecting it all? Oh, shoot. I didn't write them. I wrote the numbers that go with the items.
I don't think that's as critical as the class and stuff, right?
Yeah, those you don't want to be copying 27 of them.
I just want to like, you know, just a couple of just underline circle, but yeah. No negative comments for me.
This sucks.
You're gonna see
So
the
Jody,
program
if
for
you
the
have a
ones
meeting,
that-
you will probably.
That's fine. I mean, I'm really glad you called out because we are 90% sure we're going to Louisiana Memorial Day. So I'm really glad you recognized that that was.
You're gonna give me something about,
Because the kids get out of school the 26th, and I think we're leaving on vacation on the 27th.
so you want to really call it as the right of way for the Hodges property. Yes, just send me the copy of it. And then, I told you I'd.
I thought this was actually going to be a much
Process. I think we can make that all one big lot. Maybe even administrative. Because if it's platted, you just can't do it by separate instrument. If it hadn't been platted, then we could have done it by separate instrument to get it and to undo it. But once it's platted, that is a legal instrument. The only way to fix it is to. Well, maybe. I'll review the code. It's gotten a whole, back when I first started doing residential replats, which was back when I worked for the city of Dallas. It was much more difficult than it is today. I mean, you had to notify people. Right. And I'd say it's been, they did away with that, notifying all the property owners in the phase, or the section, or the blah, blah, blah. I mean, when I came to the city of Dallas, I came as assistant director of public works, but I ran building inspection, because I was a certified building inspector, building official. And then I got promoted, I got changed to assistant director of planning and development. And one of the things I ran was subdivisions, current planning, and God, that's a big city. And we'd have 25 cases, and we had a planning commission meeting every Thursday. Well, I had 25 cases, 25 plats. Yes. And state law still allows that to happen. It seems like all these smaller communities, like I'm working in now, they all want to have the council responsible. Now, I told you I'm now the city planning office. The city council is the planning and zoning commission as well. So they do it all. They don't want to do it, or and they just want to deal with recommendations. See, I think that is a much easier deal for the council, because then all they're having to do is consider what the planning commission recommended. Right, the mechanics. Bless you. You're not contagious? I've had one shot too. So I was, I had this house in front of my house that I was getting ready to fix. I'm fixing it. And when we had the freeze, one of my sprinkler lines broke, and I hadn't fixed it. And I had the guys out that did the foundation work, and they checked all this stuff, and I discovered that I had this broken pipe, and it was a long way from the house. So I was going to fix it on Monday. At 4:40, I get a call from my wife. She said, I have fallen and I hurt myself really bad. And she had. And so I didn't even turn off my computer. I just locked the door because Aaron wasn't there. And I called her and she didn't answer the phone. And I called her husband and he didn't answer the phone. I called my neighbor down there and she didn't answer the phone. And so I picked it up and started getting going. And when I got down there, my daughter had got